May I come in, sir?
Yes, please do.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please take your seat.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're Mr. Jaspinder.
Yes, sir.
Jaspinder, can I presume that you are vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
Both those?
Yes, sir.
Board is also vaccinated, so I'll advise you to remove your mask.
Thank you, sir.
Comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Fine, Jaspinder. Then to begin with, please introduce yourself to board.
Sir, I am Jaspinder Singh. I come from village of district Shri Muktsar Sahib from Punjab. And my mother, she is housewife. My father is a farmer. And I have done my schooling from Shri Muktsar Sahib itself. Then I went to Chandigarh for BA LLB, that is graduation in law. And afterwards, I started preparation for UPSC in 2019, sir. Sir, I aspire to become IAS officer, sir.
Okay. So you're basically law graduate.
Yes, sir.
From Punjab University.
Yes, sir.
And you are 27 years old.
26, sir.
26. Right. So, Jaspinder, you want to become a civil servant.
Yes, sir.
Any inspiration, any specific reason why you want to get into? I mean, you are coming from a nice, wealthy farmer family, and any specific reason for turning to civil services, becoming a Naukar?
Yes, sir. Sir, this is not. This is like serving the society, sir, and being in a farmer's family, born in a farmer's family, sir. The village and the people of village, my family, they look up to the civil servants because when they serve the society, it feels like it feels like they're satisfied with respect to their job and with respect to it gives you intellectual satisfaction basically, sir. And sir, moreover, when I look to see the bureaucrats, sir, and when they are able to serve the society and make difference in the lives of people, sir, half of the life they implement the rules and regulations, and half of their service they are there to make the policies, making the difference in the lives of people, sir. That is what I mean by intellectual satisfaction, sir.
You're basically a law graduate. You have taken law as optional.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the very basic question. What is the source of rights of citizen?
Sir, there are various theories with respect to the rights of citizens, but not going into the theories. When a human being is born, even before he's taking the birth, he is born with certain natural rights, sir. So by the nature has given him certain rights, and later on, when we talk about sources, later on it developed into or framed into, we can say, Magna Carta and then the Constitution of India. But earlier there were we can say, so nature. When we talk about the Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, then we can say that there was this state of nature, and then nature of state. It was converted after social contract. So also the social contract is one of the base of the rights, sir.
One of the basic function of law per se is justice.
Yes, sir.
But tell me, what is the rationale of justice? In other words, why should there be justice in the society?
So justice is about giving good life to each and every citizen, sir. It is about having the distribution of resources in a fair and equitable manner, sir. So when we talk about why justice, then it comes to our mind that so that each and every one can live a life where he or she is getting the maximum opportunities, and he's or she is able to use those opportunities to the maximum extent, sir.
Sounds so good, but sounds so religious rather than pragmatic. Tell me, what is the function of justice in the society? Pragmatically speaking, why should society have justice?
So justice is like it's giving each and every person opportunity, sir. If let's take some examples, sir. A person who belongs to a poor family, or a person who is a farmer, sir, if he is not able to get the justice, by here I mean the opportunities, for example education, for example health, then he will not be able to thrive. He will be looking up to others and feeling discriminated, sir, and then he will not be able to realize what he's having inside, what he's got inside him. And that is not only beneficial for a person himself, that is beneficial for the society at large. When each and every person is getting a justice, it leads to peaceful society, peaceful nation, and later on a peaceful globe, I believe, sir.
Fine, Jaspinder. Thank you for now.
Jaspinder, should we now take full administrative control of the POK?
So, talking about full administrative control after 370 has been used to convert it into union territory, we are having control over our Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. But legally we have taken over POK, where we are having it as per the constitution, it is a part of our country. But when we talk about taking it administratively, then it is about crossing LOC and UNSCs, those the sanctions that were put upon us, and UNSC it decided that line of control shall be the marking line. So I think it is more of a thing where we must start thinking about it with respect to bilaterally. It should be done bilaterally as per Shimla agreement, and as per it should happen peacefully, sir. Right now, that is what I say, having in my mind Ukraine and Russia's crisis going on.
Nobody is respecting UN bodies, nor Russia, nor USA, nobody. Why should we respect the UN's decision about LOC?
Sir, it is not about respecting some bodies, it's about respecting that very institution where the peoples of globe, sir, they got together and they talked about the global peace. We are in the favor of global peace, and for that, if we have to respect the UNSC bodies, I think we must respect them. That is what I believe, sir.
Who is chairing the UN Security Council this month?
Sir, right now it's not in my mind, sir.
Are we a member of UNSC?
Yes, sir.
Until which time?
Pardon, sir?
What is the period of our membership in
yes, sir.
Security Council?
Sir, it is 2001 and 2022 right now. Complete 2022.
So this year, which month our membership would expire?
So after the completion of this year, sir.
Okay. Why 4th July is celebrated as Independence Day of USA?
Sir, on this very day, as my birthday also falls on the same day, sir, USA, the proclamation of independence was there, and that is why, that is the major reason.
Which year?
Sir, that is 1786, if I'm not wrong, sir.
Okay.
Sir, and they gave this proclamation of independence, and they came together and said that we will be giving to ourselves the constitution, sir. And so that is why this very day is celebrated as Independence Day of USA, sir.
Why American Constitution is considered by some experts as basically economic constitution?
Sir, it is moreover tending towards a freedom and liberalism with respect to the fundamental rights, be it the freedom of speech and expression, be it all other fundamental rights. So when we talk about more freedom, so ultimately where we reach is that is economic freedom in the more layman's term. So that is why maybe it is considered as the more free.
Our constitution is heavily indebted to the American Constitution, and American Constitution is basically based on capitalist philosophy. So how can we say that the basic structure of our constitution is socialist? Do you believe that it is socialist, or it is basically leaning more towards capitalist ideology?
Sir, it's about taking best from all of the world. So when we talk about USA, we cannot say I would beg to differ here, that it is not totally bent towards this USA's constitution. Again, we have taken something from USA's constitution, we have taken something from American constitution, we have taken something from Australian constitution. So it is not that we are taking everything from USA constitution. So when we talk about socialism, we have directive principles of state which are not there in American constitution.
But if you focus on Article 19, which earlier mentioned right to freedom of wealth, right to freedom of trade and profession, all these are basically capitalist elements, and these are justiciable. This is guaranteed by the Supreme Court, part of basic structure. But DPSP is not part of basic structure and not justiciable either.
Yes, sir. So actually here we have reasonable restrictions phenomena, that these laws are not absolute in our country, and there are reasonable restrictions that a state by law can impose the reasonable restrictions in our country, sir. So that is what constitution provides. So that is also limiting the too much freedom in our society.
Now that the government is privatizing many of the PSUs, so do you think that government is ignoring and violating the principle of reasonable restriction?
So when we talk about a principle of reasonable restriction, then there must be the law for this, and then that law must be having a reasonable nexus with what it is going to achieve in this case. In this case, sir, privatization, it is not curbing the freedom of others to do trade and business. Rather, it is giving the freedom to others to participate in the trade and business. So we cannot say that we are curbing the freedom by privatization. Rather, we are having, we are moving towards the best wherever possible by keeping the core sector in the hands of government and by keeping the non-sector privatized.
We nationalized 14 private major banks in 1969. Before that, these banks were operating as a private entity. Now they are getting privatized again. So if we look at the Indian economy before 1969, it was largely running under market forces, and there was very few selective state control and regulation. Do you think the pre-1969 economy was closer to the present structure of economy?
So when we compare the two scenarios, first of all, that we were living in a closed economy, and now we are open economy with respect to when we are liberalizing our sectors, we are privatizing, and in the era of globalization, we cannot compare the both scenario. And at that point of time, that was required because we were infant economy and we wanted our homegrown businesses to grow to the extent they can without the competition. And now the era has changed, sir. Now we are competing with the world. Now we are a global power, sir.
Which also means that we as a nation have no ideological commitment. No commitment to either socialism, no commitment to capitalism either.
Sir, it's a mixed economy, and when we talk about ideology, we must not be caged in one ideology or the second ideology. It is about suiting to the society. Whatever suits our society, we must follow that. And right now, what is suiting our society is limited privatization and the role of state with respect to basic amenities to be provided to the people, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jaspinder.
Thank you, sir.
Jaspinder, you are from Punjab, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about the Anglo-Sikh War?
Yes, sir.
It is said that it has changed the course of Indian history. So why it is said and what were the consequences of these wars?
Yes, sir. So when Anglo-Sikh War was fought, there was this, we would say that after Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji, there was this no efficient ruler at that point of time, and there was whole ruckus in the whatever going in the kingdom of Punjab at that point of time. And it is known as watershed moment, or it is known as a moment which brought a change in our society, because it exposed the British with the frontiers of northwest India with respect to Afghanistan, and there they were having the fear that Russia or the other powers, they might come this side, and that great game theory was there in the and sir, also when we talk about Punjab, and this is the northwestern region, and here it is plains and canal system. Also, it was that British brought with them the canal system, irrigation system. So in the future, again, we were able to use them for the green revolution in Punjab.
So you mean to say that it was necessary to win the Anglo-Sikh War for the Britishers to bring the changes into that reason?
No, sir. Sir, it was the consequence of that. It is not that it was required. At that point of time, if the rulers were not able, they were fighting between themselves for who will be the next person to rule over Punjab. And at that point of time, British, they were opportunist enough to use that situation. And that was not good for Punjab at that point of time. And again, we cannot say that we were being ruled by the Britishers. That was good for us. But whatever we are left with now, we must live with we must cherish that we have something after that, sir.
In your resume, you have written you are interested in Bhangra.
Yes, sir.
So, what are the essential elements of Bhangra?
So, essential elements, when we talk about it, it is more of a dance which is to be done with fun and frolic, and when we talk about essential hand movements and the leg movements, that are major part of it, and the expression, the smile carried on the people of who are doing Bhangra while they are dancing, that is the biggest thing.
Can you tell me about some history of Bhangra when it was started?
So basically there are various sayings with respect to it, but what I go by is, or when we read various things, that is Bhangra, it started with the agriculture itself. It cannot be said that this is very date when it was started. People say that after Vaisakhi it was started, people say after 1699 it was started, but these are various theories, but it is with respect to agriculture.
If we compare this dance with some European dance, so is there any dance in European countries which is quite similar to this Bhangra?
So I am not able to recall right now.
What is Giddha?
So Giddha is a dance in which the females dance, and the boliyan, they are sung by them, and when the boli ends, they give rounds in between the circle that is encircled by other women, and it is more of a dance in which clapping is done by the women, sir.
There is a specific dance-based drama form which is prevalent in Punjab. Do you know about that?
So Malwai Gidda is one of such dances where and also when women they do Guddi Fukna is also done when it is done in Tej of Sawan month. So then again this drama is also done, but that drama moreover men that is over 60 years they do Malwai Gidda, and in that they do various dramas. That is what is coming to my mind right now, sir.
You are also interested in Punjabi poetry, right?
Yes, sir.
You have heard about Avatar Singh Pash?
Yes, sir. I have heard about Pash, but I am more into writing Punjabi poetry, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what kind of poetry do you write?
Sir, I touch various topics with respect to women or issues of Punjab, or it is about.
Can you recite few lines?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have written Teede Bol Babal Lai, in which a girl, she's talking to her father. She says, ਹਜੇ ਸੋਚਾਂ ਦੇ ਰੁੱਖ ਸੀਮਤ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਬੂਰ ਲੱਗਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ, ਮੈਂ ਘੱਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀਰਨ ਤੋਂ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਣ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ, ਇਸ ਬੰਦ ਡੱਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੋਤੀ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚਮਕਣ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਬਾਬਲ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ, ਨਾ ਉੱਚਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਬਾਬਲ ਤੇਰਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ, ਨਾ ਉੱਚਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ.
In this poetry, you have addressed a very hot topic, which is a very relevant topic about the women empowerment and opportunity towards which should be given to the women. So, what do you think that what step as an administrator do you take while being posted as a district administrator to improve the situation of women?
Yes, sir. So first and foremost thing, there are various schemes in our country, and their benefit is not reaching the ground level, sir, in the villages. First, that must reach to the women with respect to their ration card. They're not.
I'm not asking about the existing system which is already there. What will be your personal initiative? Tell me some personal initiative which you'd like to implement.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll try to implement this scheme which is about to be started in Punjab, where women are going to get ₹1,000 as a remuneration for the work that they do, or it will be giving them dignity or the freedom to spend make some expenditure with respect to their choices. And sir, when it is about, so also I remember Justice Leela Seth, she is saying that women should be more assertive with respect to what they are going to get, especially the property rights. I would like to make the women aware with respect to their property rights, that yes, there is no harm in demanding your property rights. You must demand your property rights.
Okay. Thank you, Jaspinder.
Thank you, sir.
So, Jaspinder?
Yes, sir.
When it comes to doctrine of eclipse in Article 13, it is argued that it is only applicable to pre-constitutional laws and inapplicable in the case of post-constitutional laws. Why is that so?
Sir, the post-constitutional laws, they are void ab initio. They are not even constitutional when they came into being. So that is why they cannot be revived, because they were void, sir. And with respect to post-constitutional laws, pre-constitutional laws, they were constitutional earlier, and that's why there is eclipse, and that eclipse when removed, then they will be constitutional again, sir.
Excellent. So, Jaspinder, when it comes to jurisdiction of ICJ,
yes, sir.
In the light of Article 36 of the Statute of ICJ, it is again contested that ICJ is a toothless tiger. It does not have any jurisdiction. Parties confer jurisdiction. Is it a valid argument to make?
Sir, when we talk about Article 36 of with respect to the jurisdiction of ICJ, then there is this optional clause where the parties are having the option whether to take in the jurisdiction or not while signing the agreement or while signing the charter. So that is why it is contested that this is a toothless tiger. But when a party has given assent already, then the party has to come into ICJ. For example, India and Pakistan, they went to ICJ because they had already signed this very optional clause.
Alright, fantastic. So let's say ICJ passes an order. Can it be enforced as if it's a decree in a court of law in India?
Sir, it cannot be enforced as a decree. Again, Supreme Court might pass some order, or it cannot be. It is not binding on a country.
So in other words, it's lovely to look in paper. Possibly you can laminate the same, but it has no enforceability.
Sir, UNSC, it can give some sanctions that if you're not following ICJ's order.
Which it seldom does. Name one instance wherein Security Council has passed a resolution imposing sanction for non-fulfillment of ICJ order.
So I'm not able to recall.
Alright. Possibly in fiction, yes, but not in reality. But nonetheless, going further, it's very interesting once we read Negotiable Instruments Act that check is a negotiable instrument. So is bills of exchange rather, and so is pro note. Why is money not a negotiable instrument?
Yes, sir. So money is not negotiable instrument because it is already guaranteed first of all, and the government gives the guarantee that the bearer shall be given this
guarantee under which law?
Sir, RBI Act or RBI Act, yes sir.
Are you sure on that? Or is it Indian Currency Act?
Sir, not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yes sir.
But there is a guarantee when it comes to money.
Yes sir, that even on the notes it is written, the promisor, the bearer shall be entitled to this much amount of money, as much it is mentioned in the note by the government of India. So and when notes, they are not negotiable because they cannot be transferred in a way that to this very particular person they are to be negotiated. So and a person, he cannot say that not negotiable with respect to X person or
that would do. Jaspinder, going further, slightly away from law and then coming back to law again. Have you heard of this interesting fine called Partygate fine?
Yes, sir.
In what context did you hear that?
So, with respect to pandemic lockdown in UK, sir, there Boris Johnson.
Oh, let's prefix with Prime Minister.
Yes, sir. So PM and FM, it was his birthday and some party was given and there was.
So, is it correct to say that the Metropolitan Police of London imposed fine on the Prime Minister for violating pandemic norms?
So that is rule of law. That is what rule of law is. Even if you are Prime Minister, you are not supposed to.
Fantastic. It's a very debatable question of culpable homicide and murder. What is the exact difference? If you have to just sum it up in two sentences.
So intention is the difference. Mens rea.
Under both the sections, section 299 as well as 300, you have intention as well as knowledge.
Sir, in the layman's term, that is what I say, intention. But when we talk about 299 and 300, the likelihoodness, how the act was likely to cause the death of a person, that is also to be seen. And the next
Justice Melvin has explained the difference between culpable homicide and murder in one word. One word. Forget sentence. Okay, forget paragraphs. One word.
So I'm not able to recall what.
Degree.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir.
Murder, you have higher degree of intention, higher degree of knowledge, all in higher degree vis-a-vis culpable homicide. My last follow-up question to that is, imagine a situation, you are carrying a loaded pistol, you do not intend to kill anyone, you just randomly shoot in a market and randomly Mr. A dies. Can you be booked under 302 or 304?
So here there was no intention to kill a person. So it will be not 302, sir. It will not be a murder in this case.
In that note, I think you need to check illustration A to section 300. It could argue against you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Singh, you recited a beautiful poem in front of the board, which ended by saying that give me a chance to become a son, correct?
Not become a son, tere putt vangu, yeah, like your son.
Like your son. Why should daughters try to become like son and sons not try to become like daughters? Don't you think it shows some kind of bias on your part?
Ma'am, that is used as a metaphor that when the sons are getting all the opportunities, why not women get all the opportunity? So it is in a society where we have made women not equal to men. We have framed it in such a way where they're getting lesser opportunities. So the poem is in the form of metaphor where she should also get the same opportunities as a son is getting.
Okay, Mr. Singh, if I give you an opportunity to correct your stand with any of the members of this board, is this one thing that you would want to undo or change your stand about?
I think everything has led me to learn something or the other. So there will be nothing that I would like to change. Rather, later on I'll be imbibing whatever I have got from here, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Singh, you like to read Gurbani. That's what you've written. Can you tell me which is your favorite shabad?
Ma'am, Japji Sahib I like to read, and Chaupai Sahib is like, it is short, and whenever you're going somewhere you can read it, and it is.
What is the purpose of Gurbani?
Ma'am, Gurbani basically it connects you with the spiritual power, and it gives you like peace at your mind. So that is for me, that is what is Gurbani.
Can you tell me a few languages that have been used in Gurbani?
Basically, ma'am, Brij Pasha is also used, and moreover, more of it is written in Gurmukhi. And when the Gurbani is taken from other,
apart from Gurmukhi, can you name 3 languages?
Even in Hindi, the Hindi language shabds of Hindi are being used. Brij Bhasha, that is also being used. And in some at some circumstances, Persian language words are also used when we have free Jis Bani in Guru.
Are you sure?
I'm not 100% sure. There are languages, there are shabds of other languages as well.
Okay, Mr. Singh, you're from Punjab.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had to draw a parallel between Punjab and Sri Lanka right now, at this moment, can you draw some kind of parallel?
Yes, ma'am. In respect of economic terms, yes, it can be drawn.
What is the issue? Please tell me more about it.
Yes, ma'am. In Punjab, when we talk about that, there is a huge, I'm not getting English word for this, karja on debt. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, ma'am. And debt on Punjab. And so similar is the case with respect to Sri Lanka, that is coming to my mind. But when we talk about Punjab, it is with respect to the state where you're giving more freebies. Again, you are promising more freebies. There again, that is the similarity we can draw with Sri Lanka. So this is the situation which we have reached to in Punjab.
What is your opinion on freebies?
Ma'am, the freebies, if a state, they can collect the enough revenue, and if they are going to empower the society.
Okay, suggest me 2 measures to collect enough revenue for Punjab.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, one thing that is to be done, that the corruption which is there when we are passing the tenders and all, because that is the money that can be easily collected by the Punjab, and there those stitches can be made with respect to leakages there. And secondly, it comes to excise and with respect to the alcohol, and so there also there are leakages that they can be curbed with respect to alcohol, and then the Punjab's revenue can be. These are with respect to what is already there in Punjab, like it's the stitching those loopholes. And again, when we come to Rate Mafia, or we can say sand mines, so that also needs to be curbed, and there also we can.
Can you name a woman minister from Punjab right now?
Yes, ma'am. She is from my district only, Baljeet Kaur, and I'm not 100% sure her name is Baljeet Kaur. She's Doctor of Eyes, ma'am.
How many women ministers do we have in Punjab right now, in the State Assembly?
1.
Does it sadden you?
Yes, ma'am. It saddened me that day when women were made, when the entire.
Why do you think this is the case?
Again, ma'am, this is the society, and the same thing it follows up where in the State Legislative Assembly or in the cabinet. That we are more inclined towards having more men as a symbol of power and women not as a symbol of power. So there, this is a very sad state of affairs. But yes, that is what the reality is.
Okay, my last question to you, Mr. Singh, is what makes you furious?
I'm a very calm person, and
that's why I want to know what makes you furious.
That will depend upon the situation. Right now, nothing comes to my mind that can make me like very furious right now. It's with respect to some injustice happening somewhere or any.
So you've never been furious in your life? Can you tell me the last time you were furious?
Not a big incident, but a very minor one where my feet was stepped badly by my own friend, very badly. That is what made me furious at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You have also mentioned this Gurbani thing. There are people who believe that the music of history, especially the medieval period, has lot to do with the Sangat and the Gurdwara music, especially in the conservation of ragas. Can you mention a few ragas which we believe that we are able to preserve because of the Gurbani and the Guru Granth Sahib?
Yes, sir. So there are 31 ragas in which Gurbani has been written in Guru Granth Sahib, and Asa Rag, Rag, Asa, Rag. So right now what I can recall is Rag Asa.
The most important rag is called the Shri Raga.
Sri Raga.
Have you heard of it? Why it is Sri Raga and why it is considered one of the most important raga when it comes to Guru Granth Sahib?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it. I need to check that.
No problem. Fine, Jaspinder. Nice talking to you. The
Thank
interview
you
is
so
over.
much.
You can go now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Take a seat, Jaspinder.
Thank you, sir.
Jaspinder, it is going to be your first interview at the UPSC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your interview is on 18th of May.
Yes,
so you
sir.
still have plenty of time with you, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what's your take? How about your performance in this interview? You believe it was as you wished, or there are areas you would like to work on?
So starting was not as I wished. Later on, it was a little under my control. Rest is what you have to say, sir.
Okay, and how about the communication? Were you your best today, or you're better than this?
So I'm slower than this.
You're slower than this,
Yes.
right? See, Jaspinder, you are an interesting candidate to say the least. There are many reasons why I call you interesting, because one, you're coming from Punjab, and people like you, not many people like you actually appear when it comes to the UPSC interview thing. So board members will be really interested in you, and you carry a wonderful profile with you. And law is one area where always say, if you have law as optional, then you have this advantage that you already have a panel who will be eager to interact with you for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is that almost all members have something to do with law.
Yes, sir.
Right? Either they have done LLB or they were IPS, or for whatever reason. For whatever reason, they have something to do with law, at least some part of law. So they'll be interested in the moment that they say law. Oh, okay, let's have good interaction. So you're having a earful kind of a board to begin with. You need to capitalize on it to the best possible way. Coming to the specifics, in general, your entry is good. Your sitting posture is good. You smartly carry yourself. There isn't much hand movement, which is a nice thing. Your eye contact is also perfect in a sense that you make good eye contact with the person you're talking to. And the flow is also there, right? To some extent, sometime it is, as you said, the speed is a little higher at a few places. But still the voice clarity is there. Communication is there. So maybe effectiveness will increase if you reduce your speed by 5-10%, but if you if you let it go the way it is, it won't hurt. So that way it's fine. Coming to the specific suggestions, there are only few suggestions I have to make. One is that I realized more than once it happened that you had this opportunity to amend your initial stand. And it appeared that there were reasons to do it, but you stuck to what you started with. It is good sometime, but it is better sometime if you get an opportunity and you're convinced that maybe a changing stand will help, then there's no harm in once in a while doing it. Right?
Yes, sir.
So you can decide that way. I'm not saying that either way it is wrong, but yes, if you believe that your initial stand you took was maybe a little off and you can correct it and you have opportunity to do it, do it. It will be good, right? Coming to the other areas, in general, you have good command of your language, which is fine. And also you're able to defend your hobbies and the related areas. So that way also you're doing things right. At a few places, though, sometimes it appears that when you're discussing things like law and all, you're trying to be more rhyming rather than matter of fact statement thing, right? So not a bad idea, not a bad. I mean, for example, there were instances where you were, at least in the beginning it was so, you were like trying to make it poetic in terms of conversation. Then the matter of factly.
It was natural, sir. I didn't try.
That is fine. I mean, that's why I said ki, it's not necessarily that you should be changing it, but it is my duty to point it out, right?
Thank you, sir.
And also, it was in the initial 5-7 minutes, that tendency of giving terms which can lead you to some further problems which did not hear, but it is possible. For example, if you're say talking about X thing, history thing, then you come up with that statement of the great game and things like that. If that was intentional and you wanted to lead the board to your areas of strength, good.
So I could watch it that some blunder has happened then later on.
So if not, then avoidable.
Yes.
I mean, you can take it. It should not be flooded with certain terms which may lead you to your area of weakness rather than strength. That's my only concern. Otherwise, it's very good. Everything else is in place. You're able to defend your hobbies, and you're able to defend the state thing good. In the law, your understanding is very good, though there were a few areas, for example, when it was being discussed, the homicide thing, maybe there's a specific provision which you can look at. So that will be helpful, but obviously it may not necessarily be discussed there, but knowing is always better than not knowing. Other things are in place. So you only have to keep the performance at least at this level and add a little bit. Don't take too many advices now, because you're already doing very good, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir.